Hi, this is Beetlejuice here. Just doing a quick review on the Ego U. The juice I am also reviewing is solid ejuice. I have 2 bottles of it. One sec, I'll grab it for you. Oh crap, tipped over. Okay, so here it is. 2 bottles. One is grape cocktail, and this one is wild cherry. Now, I'm actually going to start with the juices. The first thing you're going to notice is the rather plain labels. They're I got them at a convenience store. Both of them are 10 ml. That's generally what I've seen convenience stores carry, are 10 ml bottles. What can I say about this ejuice? This one here, the grape cocktail, it was sold to me. I basically, like, okay, when you ask somebody about vaping, they're gonna ask you stuff like, oh, well, how often do you smoke? So what was reckoned to me was a 24 milligram nicotine level. Okay. I advised against it, especially with I don't know about other brands. Like I'm like you. Okay, you want to know about vaping. You want to know like what your first experience is going to be. This is it. Okay, for me, a higher nicotine level was absolutely garbage. You don't taste the flavor. It's harsh, and it like chokingly harsh. You get with the Ego, you get a or a throat hit that like dries out your throat. You basically just want to down glasses of water just to get rid of it, and you can taste the nicotine. Now, like when I first got this and I first started vaping, it wasn't bad. Like, I don't know, but after like half an hour or so, I noticed something. You don't taste the flavor, or at least the flavor isn't how it's described, right? Like grape cocktail, you're thinking like, okay, it's gonna be like fruit punch or something, but you're gonna taste grape, right? Like that should be the predominant flavor is grape. Not the case. With this one, it tasted kind of like burnt liquid sugar or something. Like it was just sweet, but it had a really burnt taste. Now in here, I just switched to this is wild cherry. Okay, and everything's on the side. So as you can see, it's 6 milligram nicotine. I decided to drop in nicotine because I thought, okay, maybe it's not so much the flavor, but the amount of nicotine you have that is causing it. And again, now with the lower nicotine level, it didn't kill the throat. In fact, it was actually a more enjoyable vape. I even got more vapor from the lower nicotine level. However, flavor's still off. Like, even smelling them. This one generally smells like cough syrup. Like just cough syrup. That's the smell you get from it. You do not get wild cherry. You do not get anything. That's grape cocktail. You don't get anything. You just get like cough syrup. With the wild cherry, it's more of a fruity smell to it. But I'm getting peaches. There's definitely like a little, like what could pass for cherries. Like if you did a blind smell test or something, you might think of peaches, but really, you might think of wild cherry, but when you actually think about it, it's peaches. Having tried this, like, okay, so, well, I don't have any other apparatuses at the moment, so I can't show you the 2 different vapor clouds that are produced. With the grape cocktail, again, the higher nicotine, it was a very small cloud. It just burned your throat, and very, very little vapor production. And I mean, I made sure that the wicks were soaked. Like, there's no way I was getting a dry hit. You get dry hits like when the device is new. You get a lot more dry hits. I mean, like, I had to let it sit for like 20 minutes and like sit here and roll this thing around. Like, it saturated it. The dry hit stopped, but it was just, again, really harsh smoke. Whereas here, it's a lighter hit. You can fill your lungs more, and you can produce decent clouds, if you can call them that. Like, example. So yeah, with the other stuff, it was like half that. I mean, that's not even a very big cloud at all. Like, that's tiny from what I've seen. It gives a decent lung hit, I guess. I don't know. It goes more to your lungs than anything, but it's just more enjoyable. You can sit there and you can smoke and smoke and smoke. So it's alright. So yeah, the ego itself, I don't know. It's not cutting it for my needs. But, for most people, if it's your first device, it's alright. For $20, $30, and you get a bottle of ejuice or something with it, like, it's alright. There's definitely better ones out on the market. Still waiting on my package. And when I do, I will be doing a comparison between the two, just so that you can see how garbage this thing really is. Oy. But yeah, no, it works, I guess. In a sense that, I don't know. It works, right? One of the biggest problems I found was charging it. Like, you're gonna get a couple hours out of this at the most. Right? Like, people say, well, it'll last a day. Well, no. They don't. They really just don't. This is the charger that came with mine. They're all generally the same. Some will have a cord, so it'll be a cord that attaches onto the USB part here at the end, and then the other end of the cord, it'll be this part here, which take off your tank. Let's say you set that down over the side. You just put this in, and you screw it in. And then you plug this into the wall charger that's supplied, or a computer or something. Whatever will take a USB. The light will flash green, and then it'll turn red to show you that it's charging. But the problem becomes, I can wiggle this around inside of here. Like, it doesn't matter how tight I get that is. So if you're plugging it from a computer port, it hangs. Okay, so it's not going to make great contact, and you'll see that this turns green when there's nothing plugged in, but it's also green when it's charged. So you'll grab this thinking, oh, it's charged, but really it just hasn't made good contact enough to charge at all, and you're sitting there with a dead battery and it's just hanging there. What I had to do was I took the wall charger and I plugged it into a power bar on the floor, and you let it sit upright, right? Like in a spot where there's going to be no traffic through there, there's not going to be people, reaching in, grabbing things. It's going to sit in its own little spot and charge. Charging times are ridiculous, like 3 hours, 4 hours. Like, I left it overnight, and then I, so for the amount of time you have to charge it and then for the usage you get, it's not the greatest. Like, in that time, you're almost reaching for another cigarette. So yeah. Very basic review. I don't go into details. I don't know a lot of details. This is just what I see, what I get. This is my experience with the Ego I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not the greatest product. I've never used any of the better models like the Ego Twist or anything like that, so I can't say anything about them. But just your basic Ego, it's not very good. It is an introductory level. You know, you're gonna spend $20, $30 at the most. And if there's anybody selling it for more, like, slap them in the face, please. You know, it's not worth it. You know, if you can find it on sale for like $10 or something, hey, grab it, because that's what it's, to me, it was what it's worth. Like, it's a cheap little unit, you know, and all you get is the charger, a tank, and a battery, and a cheap plastic nib, or a cheap plastic drip tip, and that's it. Some, you'll see packages that, you know, they'll say, oh, well, they'll throw in a bottle of ejuice or something, and, you know, it might be worth like $30 at that point. But yeah, I've seen other ones. They say HD vape. Again, that's all it is. It's an Ego with another brand name on the side. So you're just paying money for that. If you're gonna get something like that, you might as well just grab an Ego. It's very plain, very basic. Yeah. So yeah, this is just your quit smoking tool. It's a lot. I will say this: those little cigarettes, you know, they're not even chargeable or anything. They're just throwaways. They're about this big. They're only as big as a cigarette. You know, you puff on it. It's at least better than that, because you can choose your own flavor. You can choose how much nicotine is in them. I'm here in Canada, so like when you see those little e-cigs, they do not contain nicotine at all. Like, you have to go to a specialties shop in order to get them. And I don't know. I've never liked them. Like, those were garbage. Like, those were absolute, like, you spend $8 for, you know, what do they say, 300 puffs? But they stop working after like 100. So yeah, refillable. You can put anything. You can put any juice you want. Something cool. I will say this about these, and I'm pretty sure you can do this with most vaporizers out there anymore. Is you can, for those of you potheads out there or whatever, you can get an attachment which doesn't sit on the tank. It actually just replaces the tank, and it's just, you can get one that will vape wax and one that'll vape dry herb. I don't know, like, they do have one for the Ego, and actually they sell it with the HD vape, but the connection's still the same. So, but you know, you're looking at a device that doesn't last all that long with just e-liquid. So if you're looking to get one of those, you're probably, I'm going to recommend you don't use the Ego versions. Go with an attachment that'll work on a bigger mod, and that'll, you know, it'll just be better. So yeah. What more can I say, guys? The gist of it is, solid ejuice sucks. I don't like the Ego personally. Maybe some of you out there think it's like the greatest thing on earth for $20. But I'm going to tell you to get bent. No, I'm just kidding. People and their opinions. So yeah, that's it. Until next time, it'll be an unboxing, a quick review, or not even a review. It'll be a quick demonstration and showing off some new equipment. So, till next time, see you later.